everybody, this is Kaylani, your Astro Wahine, and this is your astro forecast for this upcoming week, September 6th to the 12th, where I pick a couple of the transits that I think are going to be most important in our lives, and we break them down and give you some information about them so you can use this energy to make fantastic choices in your life. So we're going to start off this week with my favorite transit of the week, which is Venus trining Jupiter. It's our two benefic planets. Venus is at home sign in Libra, and then Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Jupiter is retrograde. So because it's retrograde, it might mean that we're doing a little bit of a revisitation on some things, you know, working some things out, coming to some agreements, because right now with Venus in Libra, she's trying to, you know, balance things out and agree and offer suggestions and possibly offer solutions to problems. So that looks like if you've been struggling with something and you need a little bit of a bounce, you will be getting that. We're going to be feeling that today, and we have that energy with us all the way into the 9th. And so that's good, especially before Venus switches signs and then she's in her detriment. So we want to like get all the yummy Venusian energy in like right now, like now. So some of the other positive things that can be associated with this is possibly coming into a little bit of money, having someone give you a gift, specifically because it's Venus. It could be a gift from a woman or from your mother or from somebody that is female in your life. There can be like bountiful friendships, more kind of parties and gatherings and indulgences. It could be good meals, whether you're going out for a meal or you're cooking a delicious meal at home. You know, not being so tight on the purse, spending a little bit, being a little bit indulgent in things that you normally wouldn't be. So that's like another slice of cake or another, you know, serving or helping of whatever that is, just being kind of sort of open. It's like big belly laughs and like laughing with your mouth wide open, you know, type of energy. So typically it tends to be like a little bit of a, you know, like beautiful release, a really good time for people to come together and really not like hold a cap on things. It's really about taking the cap off and enjoying yourself and just being in the moment and present with people and connecting and having fun. Some of the challenges that can come with that, because if we have like way too much Venusian energy or way too much Jupiterian energy, it can be overindulgent. It can be way too much. It could be at the end of the month looking at your credit card bill and saying, and it can also be a love of shopping, decadent lifestyle. There can be a bit of like social climbing type of thing to it. Like, I'm only going to go to this place because it has these type of people, and this is like the see and be seen kind of energy, like that kind of thing. That can be a bit shallow, you know, like where you're just not doing things because you love them, but you're doing things because of how it makes you look and in society and all that kind of stuff. When Venus trines Jupiter, it's like this kind of new money energy. Like, we just came into all of this, so let's like buy all of this flashy stuff and flash it all around. Whereas Venus trining Saturn that we had a couple of weeks ago might look like old money, which is like maybe a little bit more conservative. So I'm wondering like how this is going to play out in the, you know, the macro sense. Could be coming up with agreements that work for everybody. So if there was some policy that's on the table that's been kind of sort of like some people didn't want to, you know, move forward with it, it could look like the final like, okay, and let's move on with this policy that's going to affect everybody in a big way. And it's a broad policy, not something that's targeted towards specific people, because when it's Jupiter, it's pretty much the catch bag. What's good for everybody? Let's do the thing that's good for everybody. Next up, we have the new moon, which is happening today. This lunation is going to last all the way into our next lunation. So we're going to be feeling this energy. We're planting the seed today that we are going to be watering, that we are going to be fertilizing, that we are going to be cultivating until the next new moon. So even if you catch this video after that, this energy is still going to be with you, so you can still use it. That we're going to be feeling obviously today. The sun and the moon actually trine Uranus. That energy will kind of end around the 10th, but like I said, the new moon energy is going to be with us. So we'll kind of sort of break all of them down, because the sun and the moon are making this trine to Uranus and also making this opposition to Neptune. Now, I have horoscopes for the new moon that I do every month, and that's up on my Instagram at _wild_wahine, and you can see all of the new moon horoscopes there. Make sure to look at them from your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can always DM me and I can help you out with that. Make sure you always read horoscopes from your rising sign, because they're way more accurate that way. So we have the sun and the moon trining Uranus. It's opposing Neptune in Pisces. So there's a place in our life where things are a little bit confused. That's wherever Neptune is right now in Pisces. We have this energy to fix things, because we have the sun, we have the moon, and we also have Mars in the sign of Virgo. So that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of passion, because it's co-present. Mars is there. And it also is a lot of irritation and a little bit of maybe inflammation, like wanting to get things done, but then not really negotiating how to get them done, because you're negotiating with this space that's kind of like liminal. and that's like dreamy, and that's a little bit lost and a little bit like disillusioned. Well, we have this trine Uranus that's coming in kind of like gangbusters and like kicking down the door and saying, okay, this is where the shift is, this is what's happening. So we're kind of grateful for this trine, you know, right now in this particular new moon lunation. Now, when we had the Leo new moon last month, we had a square to Uranus, and that would have been a surprise that comes in that we were like, oh, that doesn't feel so good. So this surprise actually is something that can be supportive in your life. So I'm looking forward to that. So some of the possible things that can come with that is personal breakthroughs, personal liberation. You know, you have creative breakthroughs, new opportunities, new energies to get things done, new connections with people that allow you to kind of sort of step up and do things in places where you were hesitant, places where things were murky, or places where things were stagnant. Now, when we're talking about specifically the sun, that is our sense of self. So with the sun trining Uranus, we are rebellious and we're doing things based on how we feel and who we are as individuals. So our individuality becomes incredibly important, and what we want and what we desire and what we need is also deeply important. Negative or challenging parts of this is sometimes we can be rebellious for rebelliousness' sake. Maybe not that we know what's going on, but it's like, look, everybody's like rebelling, so let me go ahead and rebel because that looks like fun. There can be a little bit of cult of personality surrounding that. Is this restless energy that comes with Uranian things where it just doesn't know what to do with all the energy that it has, and sometimes it'll just kind of blow up things, maybe not in the right space or not at the right time. There can be also unfocused energy that just doesn't feel like it's hitting the mark, energy that's kind of hitting all of the marks all over the place, and it's just a little messy and a little bit chaotic, which can actually cause more problems instead of actually streamlining it and making it easier for you. So with this particular new moon, some things that we want to do is think about, like, what are the things that need improvement depending upon where it is in your chart. Where do we need to improve? Where do we want to have something new come in? Places where we can actually focus and kind of sort of get some things done. Where can we clean up the kind of confusion aspect? There's a part of our lives that's a little bit murky, so that we're open to flow with what Uranus wants to give us, because when we're flowing with things and we're ease with things, then when we have these shakeups, we're not like thrown off. So it's all about kind of flowing and allowing for that energy to happen. That's going to be really important for us at this time. So whatever it is that you're planting, make sure that it's something that you can tend to. You will be tending to. Last but not least, Venus is moving into her detriment, into Scorpio. That's happening September 10th all the way to November 4th. And by the look at my face, you can tell how much I love that. I don't love it. Venus is our planet of love. Okay, I'm not going to hate on you guys. I know some of you guys have Venus and Scorpio, and I love you guys, but you know, this transit is like, yeah, that's how I feel. Just like that face. Venus, our love, our relationship, our values, our connection, how we come together, how we love, how we romance, how we, you know, just break bread together and enjoy life, pleasure, the arts, visual, fun things. Of Scorpio, which is a little bit more secretive, which likes to dig very deep and get to the truth of the matter. Has to do a lot of times with, you know, personal things, with uncovering secrets and things that have to do with like the darker things actually of life. It can be quite gothic. It's like Venus in her goth phase. And I say that because Venus right now is leaving this place that she's in Libra, where she's at home. She's going to be in detriment when she's in Scorpio, and then she's going to be in Sagittarius, which is okay, but then she's in Capricorn, where she's going to be retrograde, and we're going to be feeling that, and that's Venus throughout the rest of the year. So Venus is going to be kind of sort of a bit beat up, a little bit weaker, not being able to bring her beautiful, bountiful self, you know, essentially for the rest of the year. So we just want to kind of sort of prep up for Venus being in strange places. Venus in the sign of Mars, Mars being the warrior, Mars being the one who cuts, the one who separates, the one who inflames, and the one who makes things kind of irritable and aggravative and is powerful. It's curt. It's not thinking about the niceties. It's like, I'm just gonna blat out what I say. I'm gonna over talk you. I don't care if things are proper. I don't care what order we're having this conversation. How I feel is, you know, everyone's gonna know and everybody's gonna feel it. Venus, you know, doesn't love that, because she wants things to be cohesive and respectful and nice and polite and like giving, you know. So with Venus in her detriment, some of the things, the positive things, because there's a lot of positive things that can come out of this, there's an intensity that she has, there's a passion that she has. the ability to go very, very deep with things. The psychological aspect of, you know, digging into like to find the truth is amazing. So this is like great signatures for people who are psychologists, for people who are like tarot readers. Truth, you're using these kinds of like, you know, witchy, whether it be like astrology or tarot reading or any other kinds of divination forms that you're using to uncover things or find the truth. It's about going deep with somebody on an emotional level, with an intimate level. We're talking about a highly charged sensual sexual sign here. We're talking about expressing ourselves and expressing our taboos and going after our taboos and kind of sort of letting the niceties fall apart and just following like what your neither regions are saying in terms of like connecting, like, so that can be really fun, especially for people who feel a little bit more reserved and they don't feel like they can kind of sort of let that out. There's a transformative quality that comes with that, as always with Scorpio. Scorpio has a lot of that kind of like phoenix energy where it burns and then it rises up with this transformative state. So there is a transformation that you can make in your sensual selves. Really great transit for people who are working through difficulties in relationships. If you're trying to learn how to trust again, if you're trying to learn how to be intimate again, if you've had issues with like intimate partners or intimacy or anything like that, this is a good time for you to intimate again. If you've had issues with like intimate partners or intimacy or anything like that, this is a good time for you to kind of investigate that and try to see what you can do in terms of like healing some of that. It can be a deeply healing place, which is beautiful. And it's also deeply intuitive too. Deeply intuitive. It's intuitive in the body too. So we see like just body intuition, understanding, which is one of the reasons why when people think of Venus and Scorpio, they're always thinking about like intimacy, because there's a certain level of intuition that you have in your body when you're connected with somebody in an intimate level in terms of knowing how they feel, knowing what they want, and being able to kind of match them with that. So that is fantastic, obviously. Now, some of the challenges with that is trust issues and massive jealousy. That's one of the things that, you know, on the Venusian side that can be difficult is jealousy and possessiveness, the having to have, the also having to know everything. You know, if you want to hold back and keep some things to yourself, this is going to be a difficult transit because secrets want to be revealed at this time or want to be like looked at or dug into. There can be a quality of power. You know, power comes to play with this, you know, wielding power, how you're wielding your sensual or sexual self in terms of power becomes a big deal. There can be the game of submission. So if you're into BDSM, that can be really great for you. If you're not, this is not going to feel like fun at all. Safe word. There's a level of cruelty that can happen too. You know, when you're able to be that deeply intuitive to somebody and their body and their needs and wants, that's fantastic if you're giving them what they want, but it's also something you can turn on somebody and manipulate, and then that doesn't look so really good either. And when you have that like high level of like intuition and that psychological depth of looking, you can be like a masterful manipulator or be manipulated at this time. So we want to be careful of that with Venus in Scorpio, just in what's happening in the world and the macro level, like who's manipulating us, how are they manipulating us, what does that look like? It's kind of an enticing way to manipulate. There can be a lot of insecurity in relationships. There can be secret relationships that you don't want anybody to know that you're in a secret relationship. It can be a relationship on the side that you're having that you don't want somebody to know, or it could be a secret pining for someone, a secret desire for someone that you're cultivating, but you haven't let them know at all. It's like you're living this relationship in your fantasy space and they don't know. It can be about falling deeply in love and a soul deep bond. It can also be about just, you know, going deep and being quite sensual with somebody. When I think about movies and I think about this particular transit, think of Legend, the movie Legend, long time ago, like fantasy movie with Tom Cruise in it. There's this little character named Lily, which is like the girl, the innocent girl, and then there's Darkness, who is representative of like the devil or the devil's son or something like that. And so he's like trying to entrance her because she's pure and he's taking her to the dark side. And so there's this banquet table. You guys have to watch this movie. It's like one of my favorite movies. There's this banquet that's laid out that has all these fruits and like delicious wines, and there's this beautiful like black gothic dress that doesn't have a body in it, but it starts dancing with her and she mimics the dance, and then they kind of like become one, and she's kind of turned to the dark side, and they're like, mwahahaha, we're talking about killing unicorns and drinking their blood, and you know, and so it's all very sensual, that particular scene. And to me, that is kind of the embodiment of Venus and Scorpio. It's like where we can find beauty in the grotesque, where we can find beauty in darkness, where we can find beauty in things that are kind of like that we're a little bit grossed out on. So it's beauty in the things that are hidden that we don't want people to know what makes us excited about. So So all of those types of things, you know, in this space. So this is your astro forecast for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know by, you know, liking in the comments and sharing and all of that good stuff. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at the_wild_wahine. Follow me on YouTube as well. I'm on Clubhouse and all that stuff. You'll see all the information down below. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the Beach Live on Fridays. I do a Beach Live every Friday, and then of course the astro forecast on Mondays. Aloha.